the passage of time now coming up on almost 1 year, Bob.
Yeah, Bianca, hard to believe it went by so quick here. Look, I'll be honest. I thought the president was dead when all the shots came out. When the first couple shots they were fired, everyone, they just kind of stood there. And then I'll say after about the third shot, we realized there was a shooter or shooters on premises. I'll tell you personally what I did. I hit the deck. I tried to gain some coverage or cover from some of the camera equipment, some of the camera people that were there. And while I was down, I heard the other shots fired, Bianca. And that's when I realized, obviously, there were shooters here or a shooter on the site. And I thought with so many being fired that there was no way that President Trump was going to survive. Here's a little story we put together on it. In the days after the assassination attempt on former President Trump in Butler, locals went looking to make sense of what happened. They did it together, sometimes at the Cummings Candy and Coffee Shop in downtown Butler.
I think they were still in shock from what they had seen, heard, smelled.
For a few days after the event, I believe I just felt kind of numb.
They were stunned by what had happened on July 13th, 2024 at the rally they and I had just attended. An assassin's bullet grazed then candidate Donald Trump's ear. Attempted assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks fired 8 shots, killing local firefighter Corey Comparator and critically injured 2 others. At that moment, I and many others, we hit the deck. I looked up and the former president was down. I was thinking the worst. But then he popped up, and with that fist pump, the crowd erupted. We all did. It's a moment that local sculptor Bill Secunda worked to capture in the weeks after.
When he stood up and did the fight, that was, obviously highly emotional. I didn't interpret it as actually physical fighting. I took it as, hey, everybody needs to pay attention. Everybody needs to vote.
The event has been discussed by the media and FBI, with clips showing Crooks clearly visible on the roof many minutes before. And even cell phone pictures were taken by the local police and sent to Secret Service to show they knew something was up. But it all somehow got missed before it was too late, leading to the Secret Service director resigning. Local police testified to a weak Secret Service protocol leading up to the rally.
At no point during the planning process was Butler ESU asked to deploy a sniper team to the roof of the AGR complex.
A bipartisan congressional task force said it wanted to get to the bottom of it all, but folded up before anyone found out why Crooks tried to do it. Was he working with anyone? And what about those encrypted accounts on his cell phone?
My issue is the lack of transparency from the FBI, who is investigating the shooter's background.
And Crooks wasn't the only one. Another assailant would allegedly try to take the former president's life. Ryan Ruth's motivation is allegedly political, according to the indictment, and he still hasn't gone to trial. Okay, Bianca, another thing I really want to point out is that after President Trump, he was taken away. A lot of the crowd there in Butler, they all looked to the media riser where we were all at. And I don't think they were specifically, citing us here at Newsmax, but just about every outlet was there. They gave us some choice words, I'll say, and they were unhappy about the rhetoric that had been being put out on air, especially during that time. And really, Bianca, I think it's the same kind of rhetoric that we hear today. And I know President Trump, he's still in danger. He is every day. He has to have the most security in the world. So, I kind of got where those people were coming from.
Yeah, it was obviously such a frightening moment for so many people in the nation, and what a moment that perhaps, changed the course of the election and clearly the course of his life. Bob Burks, great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Bianca.
And we are